In this video, you'll learn how to locate, edit, and submit the OG110BQ quarterly water injector form. To find the form, click on Forms, Online Forms. You can use the search category, Advanced Filtering, and within form name, you can type in the 110BQ waterly injection form. As you can see here, it is actually at the top of the page, so we'll go ahead and click the hyperlink here to be brought into the first section of the form information. Type in the organization, the quarter, the year, and a brief description. Select Save and Continue to move to the next section. This does bring us to section 2, and we can click on any sections to move to that section at any time. I'm going to go ahead and select Form Information Section 1. Here on the form, to be aware that the organization, the quarter, and the year cannot be changed. So if at any time you notice that that information is incorrect, you will need to start a new form. As you can see here, that our description shows us the year of 2020 when in fact we submitted for 2021. We can change the description by taking the form ID, clicking on Forms, Online Forms, going to Forms in Progress, using the Advanced Filter, and locating our form. As you can see here, the subject ID will show us the actual quarter and year for which we are submitting, and you can see our description here, which is incorrect. If you at any time you need to update the description, click Actions, Edit Description, and we can change this to the next year. And we click on Save. At any time you leave the form and you need to return to the form, you can always go to Forms in Progress, type in the form ID, or use the other categories by clicking on Advanced Filtering to find that form for the 110BQ quarterly water injection. Clicking on the hyperlink brings us back to this section, and go ahead and click Next to go to section 2. Section 2 of the form, Operator Information, contains the contact information for this specific form. As you can see, we have your name, which is the submitter, and the agent information. If at any time we would like to add in additional contacts, we can click Actions, Add Contact. By selecting this box, this person that will be added to the contact list is already in WellStar. We can select the role, and we can find the person. The people that are in this list are people that are associated to that organization. If you find that that person is not in the list here, what we can do is we can uncheck this box, and we can add in their contact information here, including their name, number, and email. Once finished, select Next to go to section 3. For section 3 of the form, EDD submission, we have the ability to submit our OG110 data using an electronic data deliverable, or EDD template. To download the template, we would select Yes and click Download the EDD. This will populate an Excel document such as this. Sometimes for these Excel documents, you'll notice that we have actually scrolled to the bottom of the page. So please scroll up to see the list of wells that are shown. Here in the gray, we can input an operator code, and etc. to actually be specific for this form. The information that is inputted in this form will not be transferred into the actual form ID in WellStar and is saved directly into the EDD submission. Here in these gray columns, we have the list of wells, we have our field area, we have our well designation, we have our API and pool well type, or just well type. If any of this information is incorrect, such as the pool type or the well designation specific to those wells, please contact your district office to have that information edited. Over here on the right side, we have a total of 11 codes for the water or steam that is injected. Some of these values you'll actually input in information. Others will be a drop down of yes or no. If any of this information needs to be reviewed, please click on Field Descriptions to see what those columns are, as denoted here. To understand if you have yes or no values, please go to Data Descriptions. For sections 4 through 9, we will have additional sections such as name of the water source, which you would input in, and the type of water source, which is the drop-down. To see what those values are, go to Data Descriptions, look at the water source codes and types of water sources to know which value you need to be inputted in. Here we have a filled out form for the wells that we have provided. As you'll notice here, some of these wells actually did not produce anything. If you find that you have a well that did not produce or does not need to be added into this EDD, we can actually highlight that row and we can click delete. If, for instance, you see that you have two wells or two columns with the same well, such as a sidetrack, we can actually delete the original hole, which we know we did not submit any data in, and we can just be left with the sidetrack data. All the information for the water and steam injected, for instance, if you have multiple wells that have different types of codes that need to be reported on, we'll calculate the total water that is injected. Over here for total water and steam injected, you will need to make sure that you have that information that matches up. So for instance, we are going to type in the well information here, and we will save our form. As you notice, for the next section, I will be leaving this blank and this blank to show you errors that can occur in the form. Once we have made sure that the information is correct in here, we will go back to WellStar. We will select Browse. We will find our EDD template, and we will upload it. Once you see that the information here is green, it means that WellStar has downloaded this completely, and we can go to the next for Section 4, Water Injection Data. Once you go to Section 4, you'll notice that at the very top, you have System is still processing an EDD for this form. Please give WellStar a little bit of time to take the information that is in that EDD template and populate it into WellStar. The more wells that you have, the longer time you'll have to wait. Once you feel that is adequate time, click refresh at the top of the page and continue to wait to see if there is any update. If all the information is correct, you'll receive a green highlight right here. And as you can see, we have a red showing us that we do have validation errors. For the first well, any validation errors that we see will be in a red status with an X, and it'll tell us what is actually incorrect. So for the first well, total water injected is a required field. So we know that this information is missing. We can click Edit Well, and we'll be brought to the well page. Here you can see that we did not enter the total water injected, which is 250 barrels. So we can click on that, and if we scroll down, we can see the water sources, which is that code 1. If at any time that information needs to be updated, we can click Actions, Edit Source, and we can update the information here. Again, like we said, if you submit data for section or code 4 through 9, information such as the type of water source or name of the water source may be required to be inputted in. I'll select Update and click Save. This will bring us back to the first section of the form. As you can see, now we have a green check mark for that first well. The second one, we do have a red X for a missing value. I click Actions, Edit Well. I would be brought to the page. Again, we see where the error is occurring, and you see that we have two water sources, a code 1 and a code 11. I need to update this, so I'll click Actions, Edit Source, and you'll see that we have missing data for the water treatment, which we'll go ahead and we'll add this information in, and we'll select Untreated as Yes. Once that information is inputted in, we'll click Save here. And at the very top of the screen now, we should see that we have no errors for this form. Everything is fine. We have green check marks for all of our wells inputted, a total of 19. If at any time you wanted to look at a specific well, we can click Advanced Filtering. We can type in the API, we can type in pool type, and we can take a look at validation errors if we know that multiple are occurring. Once that information is completed, we'll go next to go to the next section. Section 4 of the form, Document Upload, allows you to upload any documents associated to this 110BQ form. To upload a document, we would select Actions, Add New, we'll be able to input in the type, the relevant date, description, and then select Browse to upload your document. If the document has already been added to WellStar and you would like to associate a document already in the system, we can click Associate Existing Document. We type in the document ID to be able to add that in. Once all your documents have been uploaded, go to Next. to go to Form Submit. Here in Form Submit, we can add in any online form association by clicking Actions, Add Form. Put in the form ID to be able to locate that form and associate to this form. If you'd like to add in any comments, you can add in comment here, and you click Add. Once you add a comment, you'll see that you have a timestamp, your name, and the comment associated to it. You can use this comment to add in any information relevant to this form. Here, we'll have the acknowledgement section. Once you have certified that the information is true to the best of your knowledge and correct and complete, you select this. Your name will populate with the date received. If you'd like to preview your form submission before you submit, you can click on this Preview Submission Summary. Once all the information in all the sections is complete, and you notice that you have check marks in all 5 of these sections here, we can go ahead and submit our form. And that will be it for the OG110BQ data.